4 of us are gonna play scramble. Anything less than an albatross, and we're just not gonna be pleased. Oh!
Be the number.
Dude, that is so good. They're on the green, they yelled at us. I'm sorry for them, but I'm happy. That means I hit it on the green. Let's go! Come on! Albatross! Are you kidding me? A legitimate albatross, a 2 on a par 5. Yes, it was a putt. That's a legitimate albatross. No second shots. A legitimate 2 on a par 5.
You can tell because the vein in his neck's popping out.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Karol to my left and the Bobbies to my right. And we just got done playing Canyons Golf Club in Utah. Ball go far here, 8,000 feet of elevation.
Ball go
real far.
The first thing I want to talk about is that this guy walked in an albatross. Take it away, Bobby. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Bobby hit first, and he kind of missed one just a little right of the green, but it was in the air for so long, we're all thinking, like, that's got to be up there around the green somewhere. And I actually kind of put kind of a relatively smooth swing on it. Right in the center of the face, though. Probably 205 ball speed if I had to guess, but dead straight, no curve whatsoever. And I'm sitting there watching it. It's probably in the air for, what, 15, 16 seconds?
It's in there for a
It was
while.
a while. We'll have to look back on the playback and actually calculate the hang time.
Yeah,
I'd be very curious.
we're going to have to. And I knew that it was at the very least close to the green because somehow from 500 yards away, we heard the group ahead of us screaming and bitching at us about, hey, we're still on the green. And most people like, oh, oops, like my bad.
But
I was like,
you didn't
yeah.
even know you hit the green. You knew you hit it when they turned around and literally
He literally
pissed.
stood on the
Well,
edge
right.
of
There's a chance that maybe it was like on the fringe or something because we didn't know for sure.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it is normally if you hit into somebody, you feel a sense of guilt or like, oops, or like that's my bad. I couldn't have cared less. Like I was like, I literally did like a fist pump, I think, when I was like, yes, I hit into them because that meant we're in business.
You were on.
You know what I mean? So
It worked out great because we painted the picture that we've hit 500-yard drives in the past, granted whether
Right.
it be in Montana, Colorado, at corporate outings, like crazy shit. And, because you guys hit it a couple yards farther, carried it farther, but we all hit it 500 yards. Kyle damn near chipped it in. I went past the hole. I didn't even try to putt the eagle putt, and then, you just get up there and just nail the pin, goes in, we go nuts. The best part about the entire video, like when it's edited and done, were the people sitting on their back patio. And all of a sudden,
they look back up at our general direction. But the funny thing is, like, from their perspective, you're on a green, it's a par 5, and all of a sudden, thunk. That was probably a pretty loud thunk too.
Yeah.
Because
that thing was coming in at terminal velocity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, and
the
again,
pitch mark, the pitch mark
right.
on the green was, like you can't fake that.
Yeah, I mean, if the greens were soft, it would have plugged.
And by
no
the way,
doubt about it.
if it's possible, we should include a link to the actual shot so people can get context. Because,
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be up by the time this podcast is up, or at least close to then. Because, that was one of the craziest shots I've ever seen. And, the cool thing about it is, I know a lot of people might say, oh, it's BS, no way. But here's the thing. The group ahead of us yelled back at us. The pitch mark was so deep, it could not have been done by anything other than a ball falling 400 plus feet. The people in the complexes to the right of the green verified exactly what they said back at us. And the genuine reaction of Bobby walking in a 45-foot albatross putt, I mean, to me, and I'm curious if any of you guys can maybe back this up or refute it, I think that is for sure the first time we've ever seen on a true full-length 500-plus yard hole a walk-in albatross from beginning to end, from the tee shot to the putt. And I know there's a couple of albatrosses that have been filmed on the PGA Tour, like Louis Oosthuizen and one from the Masters. If memory serves, there's I think 5 or 6 tops. So I would love for you guys to tell me how many albatrosses you think have been filmed from beginning to end, meaning the entire hole has been filmed, because I feel like you can count it on 2 hands, in the history of the golf game. And that's crazy that you probably have one of those 10 or less albatrosses.
Yeah. Well, and here's a new question, though. Would you guys rather hammer a 500-yard drive and putt in an albatross, or hit one in from 250?
It's not going to happen.
I think the question has already been answered with your first 2 words.
Here's the 2 storylines, is that the hole before,
Oh, okay.
I drive the green, and we three-putt as we're playing,
That
or
was
four,
terrible.
we three-putt as a foursome, like we're playing a scramble-style hole.
Yeah,
bad.
but that
And then the
green
next-
looked like it was literally constructed by the Mayans. It was three-tiered. There was it
was impossible.
It was impossible. It was literally impossible.
And then the next hole we go out, he makes an albatross, and then we text Garrett, or we do a video
Yeah,
call to
Garrett
Garrett
Clark.
at Good, and I was like, I know Matt Sharp, and it was Bubby, Matt Sharp, and Micah that all drove a green that was right around 300 yards, and Matt ends up hitting a hole in one, but we tell it to Garrett like, hey, this is pretty darn close, and Garrett's like, how far was the hole in one on a par 4? Did you hit a hole? And he was asking us
He's like,
what it was.
is the
I'm like,
throne
no, it was
still
a par
mine?
5, but still, that was pretty sick. Very few people.
The
could do
crazy
that.
thing was like the next hole. I didn't know if there was another par 5. I didn't know how far it was. The course we were playing was only 6,000 yards at 8,000 feet of elevation, so it's probably playing like 5,200 when it comes down to like.
Yeah.
So I'm in my head. That's what's in my head, and I'm like, the next hole can't be that long if we just played a par 5, and I know the general direction of the hole, and the next shot he hits is a laser right at the pin, and I'm like, is he gonna hit another albatross, like back-to-back albatrosses? That ended up, I think it was another par 5, so it was a bit short, but like it just hit another laser right at the green.
I was feeling it for just a moment. Definitely a highlight for me.
You're the best golfer in the world for about 7 to 10 minutes.
I would say that, right, if you were to assemble everybody on planet Earth, 8 billion people, how many are making albatross there in one try?
I mean, honestly, there's probably 100 that have the capability, and like out
Right.
of those 100, you're probably the one that's gonna do it.
Right.
You
so,
basically you had
I
a.
mean, technically anybody can hit one.
Well,
in from
you
fairway.
were about that far away from hitting the pin.
I just thought of something. Let me say.
And mine went.
Yeah.
Let me say this right now. I think he has the longest true up and down in the history of golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that hole's dead
World
straight.
record holder for longest up and down. I think
That is-
that's
Yeah, because you
100%.
didn't cut any corners. That hole was dead straight.
No, right. It was
yeah.
a legitimate. Yes, it wasn't playing 505.
It,
But
no,
it was,
it was
a
505 yards,
No,
but-
no, no. But in terms of it was downhill.
It was
like,
downhill,
Like let's
yeah,
be
yeah.
honest, it wasn't playing 505 yards in the sense that if you put me on flat ground at sea level, it would not have been a 500-yard carry, right? But it probably was playing something close to 400 yards, right? I mean,
Yeah.
some close.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably
So,
like more like 425, 430.
Yeah, whatever. But go
I mean,
me, whatever. I don't know.
And I'm thinking about it because
awesome.
like an up and down in my mind is you hit a shot that's on the green and you make the putt. And so like I'm thinking about this, like the only way I could see it being challenged somehow is if at some point throughout the annals of golf history, someone hit like 2 cart paths or had some crazy fortuitous bounce that caught a huge downslope. Because I mean, if you guys can point us to an instance where there's been a true up and down longer than 505 yards as the crow flies, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable in saying that he owns, and this is kind of wild to say, the longest up and down in the history of the 600-year history.
Because he
of
hit
the
it
sport.
probably about 510 to 512
And,
because
yeah.
the pin was in the back and it wasn't in the middle of the green.
And
Because
the-
mine was more towards the middle of
Right.
the green.
And the
I
only-
would say mine was probably like 502, 503, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And think about this too.
Yours was long.
Of every golf shot hit, in the,
Yeah, Kyle hit it a little bit.
Kyle
too
hit a
far.
little too far. He hit a
I almost
bunt
chipped
like
in for Albatross, but-
520.
Yeah, you
you'll
did.
probably
That
see that on
was
my
a good chip
Instagram.
up.
I'm
That
definitely
was good.
posting
That
that.
was
But
good.
but here, this is another thing about what percentage of golf shots do you think are filmed, and what percentage of holes played by the general public and just in general do you think are filmed? So the longest up and down in the history of golf also happens to have been captured on film in its entirety.
Yeah.
With witnesses. The guy, and I wish we would have gone and like actually interviewed the
We
guys
should have.
after he made the putt. We just weren't
Well,
thinking.
you know what?
We were
We
too
did owe
fired
them
up.
an apology, and we should have.
Yeah, because
We should have done that.
Sorry, we only hit it. He's sorry he hit it 512 yards in the air.
Yeah, well, us three, I'm sure, are professionals and apologizing to the groups ahead, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you kind of put the
I had
head
no
down
idea I
a little
could hit
bit.
that
the
far.
after
kinda
you celebrate
little
staying on
mini
top
bow,
of the
I'm
hill,
sorry,
flexing your
it's my
biceps,
bad.
driving to
Yeah,
heaven.
you should have. And
But no, as a golf, I'm a golf purist, and I truly feel like that's so cool. Like unless there's some crazy record that I'm not aware of, and it would literally have to be like double cart path bounce, and then that is where you have to like find a hole that has 2 different cart paths intersecting the hole for it to stay on the line to go to the green. Like I just can't see a way where somehow someone else has had a situation where they've been 510 yards away from the hole, hit a shot on the green, and made the putt.
Yeah.
And
Here's
that putt wasn't a short putt.
Oh, that was
That's
was
the thing.
a-
Like if you were
that
to
hit the
sit-
center of the pin
Yeah.
too.
if
That
you were
was
to
awesome.
simulate that a bunch of times, right? Like there's a number of people on the planet that are capable of driving that green.
Yeah.
But it's doing it, right? And the other thing is, it's not like we're hitting a bunch of shots. We literally played the hole like we should. I hit one tee shot, I hit one putt. So the odds of actually hitting the green, first of all, you're coming from maybe a group of roughly 100 people on the planet that are maybe capable of actually driving the green. Would you say roughly? But then to actually make the putt, like that's the longest putt I've made all year.
Yeah.
I haven't
was
made
over,
I
like-
haven't made a 45-foot putt since probably 2021.
And it
we
was
were coming
pace,
out
too.
of COVID
This
last
was
summer.
not an
Coming
easy
down that
putt
hill
either.
too.
It
That was awesome.
Just very lucky, obviously, to match that tee shot and that putt. You know, but the funny thing is, like, I knew what the situation was to some degree. We were kind of playing the hole quickly, and we had a group behind us. We had to keep pace. But when I stood over that putt, I literally get my little claw grip when I'm imagining it. When I took the claw and took that thing back, I knew I knew it was a cool opportunity to make an albatross. But obviously, you're not really thinking it's actually going to go in from that distance. But I was aware, like, this would be pretty cool to do this and to make it, and then obviously to have it drop was kind of surreal for
Now, I think this pace it was coming in out a little hot, but to be honest,
I know.
that was such a hard putt. I think that's the softest you could have had that ball coming in realistically, unless you'd hit that putt like 3 times and knew the exact pace to get it over that ridge. Because there was a ridge probably like 7 feet in front of the hole that was pretty steep.
Similar to the hole before.
It could have picked
Yeah.
up speed and it could have just
And
sent
I-
it off, but
Yeah.
it
The
was
speed
good.
it was coming in at, that pretty much had to hit the center of the flagstick. Because if it hit it on the side, it would have glanced off and hit the lip and ran out. That literally was center cut, center line, red line for that cup from like 15 feet out. I mean, that was not going anywhere but the center of the cup. And he was running after it like a good 4 seconds before it went in.
So,
I
and
really
you know-
appreciated the celebration, by the way,
Yeah.
because you went and chest bumped everyone and turned around and just halted when it came to me.
You
So
told me to
thank you
stop.
for not wiping me out. Yeah, because I was afraid.
And the
you were gonna
golf
just
purists
rip-
with the golf shoes, we have tennis shoes on. We didn't tear up the greens, but that was justifiably
No,
a moment in
that was
time
an
where we could go nuts.
authentic celebration.
And I know we spent a lot of, I guess, the first bit of time in this podcast on that, but like that truly, in my 24 years of playing golf, that truly is the coolest, probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's so easy to not think about how crazy it is because we kind of play the hole fast, but when you stop and think about it, a 510-yard golf shot, and then you made a 45-foot putt over 2 ridges, just glancing at it, on a hole you've never played before that you played in like 4 minutes. We played that hole in like 4 minutes.
It took us longer just to get down to
the
the hole. Like we
drive.
had to go
Oh, God,
because
can we
there was
talk
such a
about that
steep
drive?
thing.
God,
I mean,
that was something.
We were
in
talking
itself.
about it in the car.
Yeah.
We said we were very shocked that there was no like waiver that you need to sign.
yeah.
There was moments when you're driving up those hills that you're like, if I was intoxicated, I for sure would have.
It was a good thing I
Off
only
the
had 1
cliff.
hour of sleep. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a great thing for me to be
For
driving.
those of you listening, just to fill you in, like the tee box was so elevated that to get down safely, you couldn't possibly have the cart path in a straight line to the green. So it was kind of winding left and right, kind of like those roads in San Francisco. You know, those hills are so steep, so it goes
But there
back
was
and forth.
multiple holes that
But it
had
was
the
insane.
windy, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just kind of like dirt. There was nothing to
But-
stop you
and
from.
while we're on the,
But the views out there, by the way,
Impeccable.
incredible.
yeah, while we're on
Yeah.
the subject of the course, Canyons Golf Club out in Utah, like must play. Like
Yes.
literally, that course didn't have a single bad hole. Like every single hole was like Instagram worthy, like unbelievable. There's a short little par 3, but the gondola is going back and forth. And
Oh,
That
yeah,
was pretty
we,
cool.
for a second, thought we thought he made a hole in one. We were just kind of screwing around. He throws a ball down and flips it. It's like a 140-yard par 3, and
I
it
was like, that
disappears.
better not go in. That
And I
better
was
not
like,
be in.
the-
I'd be so pissed.
The irony of him capturing the entire albatross and him missing his first ever. Well, it would have been your second hole one. You
Yeah,
can
right.
say your spiel on that one because, like, tell them your story on that, and let's let them in the comments decide if this counts.
So we were at Fox Hills Country Club out in London. This was right after, the Open was
Yeah.
going on. Went out and watched Bryson play. And I'm with my CEO from my software company, and we have to wait a little bit to play. We're playing all 36 holes at Fox Hills, so then they have a little pitch and putt course. Get up, 59 yards, just bang, goes right in the hole. And then when I walk up, the hole's like this fucking big. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, I've never hit a hole in one in my entire life. And George is like, it counts. It absolutely counts. He's like, it's a hole. There's a tee box. And I'm like, come on, man, I can't count it.
If I'm you, I don't care. I'm saying to
I would
everybody,
count it.
I got a hole in one.
I would count it. Why
I don't
not?
care.
I just like the fact that the hole is like three
You
times the
that
size.
was not your doing. It was
Yeah,
there.
It's not my fault.
That is not your
But
fault.
that would be the hole in one you get. Like, that fits your
And
personality
you said it was
perfectly.
59
It
yards.
was 59 yards.
Man.
Wait,
I'm
also,
like, come on, man.
if they come out to play,
I feel like
Canyons Club,
that's the same level of hole in one. Real quick, sorry, Carol.
No, go for
That's
it,
the
go for it.
same level of hole in one as like making one on a simulator.
And by the way, one last thing I want to say.
It's kind of it's a gray area.
I would 1,000% put your Instagram bio, world's longest up and down record holder, in parentheses 510 yards or something like that. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, and if you know what, if somebody comes out of the woodwork and says
We're gonna go to that apartment.
and that you got evidence, and you're right,
or go to those people in the
Yeah.
apartment complex.
We're gonna get
and you
the
got
sign
evidence,
off on it.
that's fine. Like I'd love to hear it if somebody has in fact driven a green from longer and made a putt. But that's interesting. I think I might start doing that. Like anytime I do charity events, be like, I also hold the record for longest up and down. I like that, Kyle.
The cool thing is it's documented. Like and so back when I was, with the good guys, I remember you were there for this. We were kind of like, what do we do today? We were in town for a couple days. I think it was late 2020. And well, Bubby and I talked about, what's the longest catch of a golf ball ever? And we couldn't find anything for it. And the wind was howling that day. It was like 20 to 30. And people throw around wind gusts like actually 25 mile an hour wind is freaking blowing. And like it was 100% 25 plus with 35 gusts. And we go to Frisco Lakes Golf Club. We got Bubby with a little bicycle helmet and glove. And I just start sending piss missiles on this. This range is long. I mean, this range is like from end to end. And I'm talking like the back edge of the grass to the other edge of the grass is like 460 yards. I mean, that's probably the longest range I've ever hit on. And I mean, I was like right around 147, club speed, 218 ball speed, and just going, and it was extremely difficult because Bobby was doing the calling. So Bobby had a phone, and Bobby was calling the ball as it fell towards Bobby. And what happened was there was a huge crosswind left to right that we kept missing. So Bobby would say it's right on him, and it would land like 10 yards to his right, and he couldn't grab it. And like we finally got it like the 90th ball, but I mean, I think the official record, it was something like
421.
421 yards in the air was the one he caught, but I had a couple carry 455. I mean, it's crazy. And like, very probably, a couple of those balls might have approached 500 yards.
This is what was impressive. It took 94 tries. And when he figured out that his balls, like every time he hit it past like 220 ball speed, he had to dial it down to 218.
Yeah.
He had to hit it
kept
up.
hitting there was a shed.
You had to
back
hit it
in.
210 to 220 as far as height in the air, and then you had to try to hit a draw to like knock down the crosswind because he was carrying it too far.
So
And,
what percentage of the balls he hit out of those 94 do you think were catchable?
40. It was unbelievable. He literally was putting on a clinic,
Because part of it's
he
you
was
can only do
probably
so
plus or
much.
minus like 5 or 10 yards. And Bubby said the hardest thing for him because I felt like we had good timing. Like this ball's
We had it
landing in
nailed
3, 2, 1, and it was just give or take front or back. He's like, I had no problem going directional. Because I put him in a good spot, and once he started hitting like a draw into the cut wind, like it made it a lot easier. And he was so close on one, he caught on a bounce, and then the other one he just missed, and then dives and catches it.
He was
He laid out
legitimately
for it.
sitting there catching your ball.
Oh yeah, you should
It
watch
was
the video.
unbelievable.
It's
The
crazy.
video's unreal.
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be one of their top videos of all time.
I feel like we need to get Bobby out and catching your.
Well,
Bobby-
honestly, I would
definitely
love
try
to
to
break
break
that
the
record.
record.
I think that would be
It's
cool.
very breakable because we did that at sea level.
Yeah.
Like if you
Oh,
get
wow.
up here in elevation with just a little wind.
Oh, and you can see the ball like today, like on that hole. That hole,
dude.
there's no doubt the one that he got the Albatross on that you could have
Oh my
catch a
God.
ball at
That'd be
500
great.
Dude,
yards.
even yesterday
It's
in
a
the World
great
Long
solid
Drive
target,
event, I was
too.
carrying it like 440, 435.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's doable. Like, it was just crazy. And like, the thing was, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, he just caught a fly ball." I'm like, guys, that's the equivalent of a 1,500 foot home run. Like that's literally 3x the
And there's no
longest
way
home run.
he sees the ball
That's
the whole way,
that's
right?
what people
No,
keep
there's
forgetting this.
no.
He had to
When
pick
you're
it
in the
up.
major leagues, you can track the ball from the strike of the bat, crack of the bat, to when it's in your glove. And here's the thing. You're not catching a fly ball any more than 410, 20 feet because that ball's in the stands. So this is almost 4x the length of the longest fly ball anybody's ever going to catch. the difficulty wasn't the catch itself. The difficulty was not seeing it and picking it out in time to react to it. That was the hard part. And that's what people, I don't think, realize. I think it's because you can't really show the true scale of distance in the video, because it was me hitting and cutting to Bubby hitting. And you can't really show the scale of that. So I think people kind of didn't realize how crazy that was.
That's
but
tough to see, because even at the World Long
I could
Drive
barely
thing,
see Bubby myself.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I could,
nuts.
he's like a little speck.
That's almost a
But-
quarter mile.
Yeah,
That's
it
way
was
too
nerve-wracking
far.
for me because knowing Kyle, like
I thought I
he's
was
hitting
gonna
220
dunk
mile
that.
per hour golf balls, and if it hits
Was
Bubby,
he wearing equipment?
he had a helmet. It was like almost like a joke. We
had a
went to
helmet.
Walmart and got a helmet and got this crappy mitt. And but the thing is, he's like sprinting at all these golf balls. Like he
He's
wasn't
laying
even
out for
tired.
him, too.
He was- yeah.
You got to watch the video. I mean, I don't know if we
gotta
can
see
link
this.
it, but like,
I have to see this.
My son has
But-
seen the video 100 times. You know, he can't.
That's crazy.
It was
Yeah.
great. Like, I mean, it worked out perfect. He was hitting the shots. We were all getting a nice little rhythm as far as like 3, 2, 1, and like he's up, it's to your left, 5 paces to your right. This one's at the shed. Like we kind of got a nice little rhythm. And then not only that, they had the drone out. They had Micah on the end of the range filming, and then they had
It was
whoever
crazy,
else like filming us on. It was unreal
Yeah, I
because when
gotta
he
see this.
dove. We're just like this, and we weren't sure. And then all of a sudden, he throws his helmet up, and
It
he
was a
starts
delay.
sprinting, and everybody's
Oh,
jumping. I'm
'cause
like,
he caught
I
it.
guess he caught it. you
well, and
know?
speaking of like stuff that's crazy, like the World Long Drive event we had, because for those who don't realize, like I think a lot of the thing, our strategy to film stuff is like we're gonna meet around the long drive events, because like the three of us compete or right there, and it's easy to have
I
Karol
can just
fly
show
out.
up.
No, I mean it's great to have her out, and
I mean, eventually I might be at one of these
So yeah, if you guys don't know, she's
Okay.
a long drive champion in training. So I
in
mean,
training. We have a
we're
long
working
way to
on it.
go.
I mean, I think she's got a lot of potential.
That's
but like,
another thing I definitely want to talk about, because that's
Yeah.
I mean that's insane. I've never experienced what I got like a.
Tell me your
glimpse of
thoughts
what-
on it. What were your thoughts on that? So I put her through, after the tournament last evening, I put her through kind of a speed training session. And she's very fit, she's strong, and she should be able to swing quite fast. I mean, what were your thoughts on going through a speed training session?
So this was my first experience at World Long Drive. I didn't really know how everything worked, and watching. How many of you were out there?
64.
Yeah.
64. 64 of these men just recoil and have so much power in their swing. And in my head, I didn't really understand how this works. And I consider myself an athlete of some sort. I'm strong. I lift a lot. And so, but in my body, when I go play, I'm like, I don't know where to get that power from and apply it. So what Kyle did is, you capped me on a specific amount of balls
Yeah.
I could hit. Because I caught myself literally sweating. I was sweating. I felt a little out of breath. And the amount of adrenaline that kicked into my body as I'm doing this, well, you're yelling at me. You're yelling at
We had
me.
a crowd in front of you.
Yeah,
around
and
you.
there's like 7 of these long drivers just sitting there watching me hitting a little skirt. I mean, I can see why that's entertaining, but
It's gotten like 12,000 likes in the last 24
I
hours.
know, and
was
I'm
just-
sitting there laying on the ground, like getting ants
No.
on me, like making sure I get a good
From
3x
behind.
slow mo.
Bobby's on the
In Bonnie
floor.
Bradley fashion.
Yeah, all I
this
could
angle looks good here from behind.
all it was double cheeks, and I'm like, okay, I can't even see my swing, but it sounds good.
Looked great.
But it was really cool to see how much speed I was able
Yeah.
to build up, and the amount. So I maxed out. We were trying to hit 90, right?
You maxed out at 88.8 or 88.9, something
Yeah.
like that.
And so now, I mean, I feel like that's got to be my next goal. I have to hit 90. But I'm going to take the time to practice on my own, so that by the next time we do
Well, I've
this
given you
again-
the prescription.
Yeah, he has. But I got a 245 carry.
245 carry, like 263 rollout. And admittedly, we were at elevation, but still, like,
But I started out where? At
she was
like
she was hitting
200?
like
I was
150, 160 in the air, 180. But
I was
admittedly,
nervous
I think she was
too.
nervous.
I was really nervous. That was a lot of pressure.
The
to
big thing was
try
getting
to
her out of
perform.
her own way, and I think once we got her
Yeah.
reacting to the ball instead of trying to make something like to try to think about hitting it, like she started hitting it a lot better. And I mean that's kind of the crux of it. That's how you kind of hit the ball far, is you react to the ball. You don't like try to guide it. But I mean,
And I was sore this morning.
yeah. Well, imagine how I feel this morning.
I
you
know.
But I mean, what I would say is like, she got a lot of potential. She was, right at 90 miles an hour, at her max speeds, and 106, 107 is kind of where you need to be if you want to start to be competitive and throw a long drive club in her hand. She's going to be low 90s. So like, in my long drive career, I started at like 133, 134, and I've gained almost 30 miles an hour club head speed. So like, it's very doable. I don't think people realize how much speed you can gain if you train the right way consistently.
Am I like your little prodigy at the moment? Or what's gonna
You're
happen?
getting there. Yeah, I'm gonna make you my little long drive machine.
Okay, and then
So-
eventually, if I'm courageous enough, he thinks I should see a sports psychologist. So then we're
would
gonna
just-
try eventually to get in there and
I would
see if I
just
See a
say-
can.
normal psychologist.
You know, Bobby, I think you need to see a lot of things. But
can't see
we're not
anything with
gonna go there.
sunglasses
Yeah,
on.
no, literally, he can't even see. So you should see a mirror.
He's
maybe.
riding the emotional high, of
He is.
that
He's still
shot.
coming. This,
I've got
by the
Happy
way,
Gilmore going on the
not
inside.
to
of me.
harp
Yeah.
on it too much more, but just so you guys know, this Albatross we talked about probably happened less than 4 hours ago. So
Yeah.
he still kind of has that, like swag that.
I'm
He chose the one cow
On his
couch.
dating profile now, it's like
Yeah.
I hit an albatross
I've already,
on par
I've already
5.
asked like 7 women for their numbers. They've all rejected me. I'm coming back down to earth a little bit, but Kyle's dad, Bill, and I was just a few minutes ago. I was like, "Hey, Bill, remember that one time I made an albatross on a par 5? Putted it right in there." He's like, "Oh, I do remember that." Yeah. He's like, I'm never gonna let this go, but that's a shot. I think that's one of those things though. Like everybody likes to have a story of a specific shot that they made or a putt that they made or something, and I don't think I really had anything that was all that special before that. A couple hole-in-ones that weren't really anything to speak of. So it's kind of nice to have like that story, like that something to tell.
And you'll never
and I'll
forget
never
it.
forget it. No,
Yeah.
I'll never
We'll
forget
never- none
it.
of-
It
Well-
was, especially
it
in
was-
Utah. Would you ever have thought you would have gotten your albatross in Utah?
I did have a buddy. Hear this. This is even. I would say this is lower odds. I have a buddy I played college golf with. His name's Danny. He made 2 albatrosses on the back 9.
Did he break par?
Same round.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Same round, 2 albatrosses on the back 9.
Wow.
And he didn't film
And
one
that
of them.
actually was on. They did a news article on it and stuff like that. It wasn't a
That's
competitive
crazy.
round, but there were witnesses. It wasn't. 2 albatrosses in the same round. Both of them were from outside 200 yards.
You know what I'd be
Think
thinking
of the
about
odds
there?
of that.
What I would be super stoked, but I would be so upset that I didn't have any of them on film.
No, because he didn't, right? All he had was like the pictures of him like holding it up,
Holding it.
That's just-
smiling.
that's
But the
so
second
sad.
one, because it was crazy because there was enough time between where I heard about the first one. Like the first one happened to him, and he posted on his story on Instagram and everything, and everyone's congratulating. I'm sure, like, dude, that's awesome. Like, that's so sick, albatross. And then all of a sudden, like, I remember like 45 minutes later being back on Instagram. I'm like, I already saw this. He already made it. I'm like,
Oh, he did it again.
wait, this is a new story. This is his second albatross. Like, and the odds of that are just next level. Like what, 1 in a
Well,
100 billion?
Yeah, it's 12,500 to 1 from 165 yards to hit a hole-in-one. So
Let
if
me
he's
s-
at 200, his odds go up exponentially. And not only that, like I said, once he hits the hole-in-one, he has one crack at doing it immediately after that.
So
So,
Stephen Hawking, tell me what the odds are.
I mean,
Let me say this. I want to bring something up.
15,000 times 15,000.
There's something else that comes to mind that I want to bring up about this before we move on to a new topic. You just drove a par 5 straight away. So this brings up the question, do you think we will ever see a condor? Because here's the deal. with
We
this.
could hit a hole-in-one on that if we
There
spent.
have been 3 and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there have been 3 confirmed recorded instances of condor, which is 4 under par, a hole in 1 under par 5 in the history of golf. All 3 have been dogleg par 5s. There's never been a straightaway, like true to distance, like reaching a par 5 and 1, jarring it, ever. And I honestly would love for us to spend like a day at a hole like that and just hit shot after shot with the golf course's permission, of course, and go for a condor. Like, to me, that would be the coolest thing ever. And like, honestly, my vote to do it would be someone like Bobby Ray or Bobby Bradley. Like, honestly, if you guys got like 50 cracks at it, you're well rested, I think you would literally hit like, maybe get 100 balls landing on the green, and given the sheer space of the green, like you might have like a 10 to 20% shot of getting one. And like, if you can get that view from on the green facing back to the tee and keep that ball in the shot the entire way, follow it to the green and watch it go in. I mean, to have a recorded condor on a non-dogleg par 5 would probably be one of the top 10 most incredible things in the history of golf.
That would be
But-
Because that hole is accessible too, because more than likely we're going to have the ball cut just a little bit. It's going to be a little left to right, and the way, if we landed just a little bit left of the green, I mean, you had a chance. I mean, he was far right on the green and then had to go up the hill and what have you.
Yeah, but yeah,
that
yeah,
was
it was
that
just
hole was
past 10
accessible.
high. I mean, it could have dunked it if,
You
if
could
I
do
was at
it.
the hole.
You could do it, but
Yeah.
So overall, Utah's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's been good. We had a long drive
It's-
tournament. We played golf.
Heat was real.
What was your guys' favorite part about the trip? Because like, for those of you guys who don't realize, this is like, I guess you could say our first true official trip as a group.
Yeah.
Like we had a kind of a pilot filming to kind of get coordinated and figured out, but like this is our first real like we're doing this. We're
Honestly,
hitting
I had so
rubber to
much
road.
fun on this trip. Like from beginning to end, like I really enjoyed being able to watch you guys kind of do what you do, and it helped me also kind of admire you guys more as athletes. I'll never be that nice to you guys ever again, so just soak it in. But no, it was really cool to watch you guys hit and watch how that works, and then coming out to play. I thought that was a lot of fun. There was a lot of moments of laughter and like challenges, and like me freaking using the driver to chip up off a lip. I didn't think I could do that.
Well, I was impressed to see you get up and down from a pot bunker with the driver. Like literally, like she took a driver, green side in a pot bunker, hit the driver, and ended up like a foot away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
The
we'll have
distance
to.
control is just uncanny.
That was
I mean,
incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was amazing. And like for me, my favorite part was like getting to gel with you guys, and you know, like this idea was conceived March of last year. I mean, this has literally been in the works for probably, we're going on like 16, 17 months now. This has been in the works, like literally a year and a half. Like, it's so great to see an idea take shape and to see rubber hit the road and to see it working this well this early. And it's really exciting. Like, I really like doing this. It's a lot of fun. You know, and I obviously loved competing this week in long drive. You know, did go my way in the quarters. I've hit some humongous balls and just burned the edges. But like I'm hitting it amazing, and like I'm super excited for like the televised event in Tennessee in a couple weeks in Worlds. Try to grab that third belt. I'm hitting it the way I need to. I just got to get a few things going my way. But all in all, I loved the morning. We filmed this morning. It was so much fun. I mean, you know, just really enjoyed it. And I've just enjoyed being around these people, and you know, enjoyed hanging out, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's really working out great. So it's just been overall a great trip, and you know, like the host club here has been amazing. Canyons Golf Club, and
Ooh,
couldn't ask for any more.
if they come play here, you got to bring in your scorecard. If you bring in your scorecard, you get 20% off.
The
Yeah.
19th hole, yeah, good little
19th,
restaurant.
yeah.
Had some wings and Brussels sprouts.
It's
and things like that.
19% off technically,
Yeah,
which
because
makes sense.
it's
but
the 19th
yeah.
hole. Yeah,
they
yeah,
should
yeah.
have probably given us 50% off because there was an Albatross in the card.
There was.
But just
we even
kidding.
put a hole in one on Karol.
On me.
Everybody shot a 33 and Karol shot a 66.
And I'll be
with
honest,
a 15 and a
yeah.
hole in one.
I'll be honest, the food was actually amazing too.
Yeah,
so
it
like,
was good.
I'm always impressed about the quality of the food at golf clubs, and this one was exceptional. But
I definitely
Yeah.
want to come back to Utah. Utah's been fun.
I mean, I don't think this World Long Drive Tour stop's going away anytime soon, so that'll probably happen. And I'd love to come back. I honestly would love to come back to this course, and I would love for us to reserve like a day where our mission is to get a condor. Like, imagine how exciting that would be if you have a ball online, heat seeking for the pin. Like, God, imagine having a condor caught live. Now, and we're the only ones who can do it, in my opinion, because you need distance to do a true, legitimate condor. But-
Yeah, yeah.
So, Bobby, what was your favorite part of this trip?
Just you talked about us getting together. I mean, it took a little bit of time, but what I'm excited about was, you know, we're sitting with DJ Khaled one day at, was it Lagorce? We were at
Yeah.
Lagorce, and because I know these guys and gals personally, and I've always, you know, kind of hid behind the camera, so people are like, who's this fucking guy, you know, type of deal. But my favorite thing that DJ Khaled said to you is that, Kyle, you're a secret. And he's like, you're a secret. And he goes, people need to know more about your personality and who you hang around and what have you, because you're fun to be around, but I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people know that. They just see you as this fucking long drive guy that's so intense that it's like, does he have a personality? Is his only word go? Or, you know, what
Well,
have
I'll be
you?
honest, like, expanding on that, like, I would say I think these two people are secrets. Like, and that,
Yeah.
I think that was part of the reason we wanted them to be in our group, is because, like, we saw tremendous potential with both of them. Like, I really did. Like, and so that's why I couldn't be more excited about getting this rocking and rolling. And, you know, I'm sure some of the content's out now, some of it's out, and some of it's probably coming out soon at the time this podcast being released. But like, the filming of this morning went so incredibly well, especially for being literally the morning after a long
Long day.
drive tournament. Like, it went so well. This was amazing. Like, it was such a good filming session, such good chemistry. The course, as I said, was amazing. Like, it was so great, and I'm just super excited to see where this goes, And
Lots of adventures ahead.
Yeah. So those guys are physically sore in my voice. I just talked for like 20
And so
straight
besides
hours.
the condor, what was your favorite part of this week?
Yeah, well, I think Kyle is somebody that you guys already know to some extent if you've seen his content. But like Bobby said, he is a fun guy to hang around, and it's interesting to hear his thoughts on things. And Kyle on the grid competing in long drive in business mode is not the same as he is outside of his job, right? That's his office. I think that applies to a lot of people. He's serious, he's in the moment, but the second you get him out of there, he's someone different. But in both ways, he's entertaining. I think that I'm a professional long driver. I'm obviously not at his level in the sense that I'm not at the top of the world, right? I'm a guy who's competing, who has a chance to win events if maybe I'm hitting the ball as well as I can. But we both have this on-grid personality and off-grid personality, and I think it's important for them to be able to look at both. Like, you'll never be able to see the adrenaline that he and I have when we hit big balls, and they may be at different points in the event. But like, I had a really big ball. I had a 6th ball that I hit to move on, and stay in the event. And you may have seen that, you may not, but the adrenaline you feel, and the adrenaline that I got just from watching Kyle hit a huge ball against Martin, that was probably the highlight for me, because you don't forget that feeling, getting those chills, and like you literally start shaking with that much adrenaline.
Felt pretty good on my end too.
Yeah, right, yeah. And what was that you said after you hit that ball?
I said game over.
Yeah, he just said, and with the
I
kill
felt
sign.
I felt a little bad after, because like the set was still going. Like he had like another ball, and like Martin's a great hitter. So like but it's a competitive thing. And cool thing about someone like Martin is he's a great hitter, and he understands that to grow the sport, you need people picking sides. And we've always understood at the end of the day, even when we take shots at each other, it's not personal. It's just being competitors. And at the end of the day, we say, hey, go get him. And that's kind of how it's always been. And I love that about competitors like that. And by the way, he's probably one of the few people who's his intensity is pretty close to my intensity.
I've never seen you like that.
I'll tell you what, when you look at Bobby Ray and he's doing his waggles, like looking down the grid, he takes one last look down the grid. And when you watch him and they show the side view, take a look, because if looks could kill, that is a look that could kill. I mean, it's like a.
Well,
like
you know the look you can kill is when I get 6th balled by a yard, and I'm throwing my stuff on the practice range. And Karol got a front row seat to that.
Well, yeah, because I was standing next to you as you said, I need a face to punch, and literally there's me just going, well, I should move now. So, but I've never.
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, I literally, I'm shaking. I'm like, I need something. I need someone to I need someone to hit.
But here's the thing, though.
Like,
that stuff is so important to show, because like we're not robots who don't have emotions. Like, we have emotions. We're human. When things don't go our way, we get upset. We get angry. We get pissed. I mean, we really do. And I think it's so cool. And if you guys really like those long drive, and I'm sure we could link one of the long drive episodes so you guys can take a look at it. It's a really cool, visceral, true to life, no holds barred, inside look. I mean, the crew we had there did not intercede whatsoever. This is raw emotion, the raw reality of what it is like to compete at the highest level in a sport. And I think what's really cool about our group is we have several people in this group who are active professional athletes at the highest level of a sport, and you get that inside look, and you can really see the emotions and the things we go through to be at our best, and we're not going to hold anything back. If it's something that makes us not look amazing, we're going to show it, because we want you guys to see what's really going on. And so I really hope you guys enjoy those long drive. I think we should make that a recurring series for sure. Just follow the long drive tour and follow me and Bobby Ray, and if Bobby Bradley wants to,
Bobby hit
I have to train for a little bit,
by the way.
But I think that would be something really cool for you guys to watch. But I think this has been a really great podcast. It's been an incredible trip. As I said, this has been in the works for 17, 18 months, and I think I speak for all of us, but we're just so excited to have rubber meeting the road, and we're just super excited to take you guys on this ride with us. And as always, if you guys have anything to say, any constructive criticism, any thoughts or ideas of what you would like to see or hear, we are here to be a vessel for your entertainment. So we want to serve your needs. So if there's something you want to see, something you want to be changed, let us know, because we want to make this the best possible experience for you guys. So I really enjoyed this trip. I know you guys did. It's been a blast, and here's to many more. We will see you guys next time.
Happy Sunday. Adios. Well, I should say, as the late great As the late great Dick Sanford always said, good night, God bless, and drive home safely.
Oh God.